All right. Hello, everybody. So I'm sorry for getting some videos out a little later this week. It's just been really busy, but dive right into it. Today's a big video for cards, a lot of good ones. So we'll get started here. So first we want to start in cardiovascular, of course. And we're going to go into physiology, and activate some more cards here. So we'll be in this first part here, activated just a few more cards, not too many. So none here, none here. The ones where we do have them is the myocardial oxygen demand. So this first card here, with your cards organized with the arrow facing down, and this card, and this card. Just because I thought those would be helpful. None here and none here. So just those ones up here. And then we're going to move down to the B-type natriuretic peptide. I picked up all three of these just because I believe they were mentioned in Dr. McCauley's lecture, and if not, they are important for CMNR by ordering a BNP lab congestive heart failure, I believe. So that'll be important, at least for CMNR. And then down to 21, the normal cardiac pressures. I activated these first two. This is going back to a lecture last week with the wedge pressure measuring the left atrial pressure. And then these two down here. Yeah. And then we'll go into 22. So there's a lot here, it's just kind of broken up. So we're going to do all of the basics, all of the brain, all of the heart, except this one. You can pick this one up if you want. I just didn't feel like coronary atherosclerosis. Yeah, I just feel like this is more pathology versus like a basics card, so I didn't grab it. Skipping kidneys, skipping lungs, and then we're gonna go into muscle, grab all of those, going into skin. All of them except these ones referring to pyrogens, inducing fever and going down to kind of some stuff from FOM2. I believe it's FOM2, yeah. So I didn't include those. And then as well as these ones, Dr. McCauley didn't talk about shivering, so I didn't feel like these were that necessary, but everything else here is helpful. And then in the vasodilator and tabloids, just the last three are good ones to have. The other ones up here are not quite there yet. So yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like those are necessary. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment and I activate these. And I'll put a notification out for all the other viewers to activate these cards here, but I don't think we have to know these. And then capillary fluid exchange. So lots of cards here. Okay, this go away. Thank you. Got this bar stuck. Okay, it's just gonna be a problem. Anyways, all the cards here, except for these ones talking about the reflection coefficient, because Dr. McCauley did not include that in her equation she gave us. And then we didn't learn about the capillary injury and effects to that equation. And then down here, actually balance should be activated because that's part of that basic equation. And then edema, yeah, you can add this one if you want. I feel like I know that, so I feel like I could just skip that card, but if you want to add it, go for it. And then this one as well was not directly mentioned, so I omitted it. But it's not really a hard one if you do want to pick it up. Great, so that is it for cardiovascular and the physiology. Next, we're going to jump down to the heme, and this is getting into stuff that Dr. Bosco was going over. So we're going to start in anatomy, and I grabbed some cards here in Hematopoiesis. So the first card, and then I have, or no, sorry, not the first card, the second card. This was something from last block, FOM1, whichever it was, that I had back then. But these first three I picked up, and I only picked these up because they matched what we have to know for lectures, like the numbers criteria matched. As for other lab values, there's some differences. So I would go off what we have to know for Seminar or Dr. Wasco's lecture, specifically with the cutoffs that they mentioned, because there's some differences with the cards here. So these are the ones I activated for white blood cell count, but I believe like the one I was looking at was like hematocrit and platelets and that kind of stuff, where there was some differences. And I think that's just kind of dependent on units and then lab as well. I would go off the cards for, or the lecture slides for those ones. And then we're also going to jump down to 4, grab all the cards here except for the first one, the third one, and then these 2 as well, just because these ones weren't mentioned. And then this is going into the platelet count, which I think buried on at least one of their slides. And then we are going to go out of anatomy into physiology, where there's a lot of cards here. So you can break it down. We are nothing in 1, nothing in 2, start here in 3. There's a lot here. So you want to get all the basics except for this one here. I don't think we have to know the PFA 100. Skip the injury, exposure, grab all of them except I activated one of the 2 cards for this. So I activated the one that's emitting endothelial cells, because endothelial cells do secrete von Willebrand factor, but Dr. Wasco just mentioned that they secrete VWF. He didn't mention the Weeble palate bodies specifically, so that's why this one card that's emitting the Weeble palate bodies is not activated. Adhesion, all of them except for this one, because cyclic A and P was not mentioned in relation to the like adhesion cascade from what I could find. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. And then aggregation, all of them, and then sketchy pharmacology. You can add these if you want. I might save them until we get a little more pharmacology related to the function, but I mean, you can always start early too. These are all good cards right here in this little spot. All right, and then we're gonna go to actually skipping 4. 4, you should have all these activated from the previous cards. So yours should look something like this. Once you've activated all these cards, so you shouldn't need to activate anything in here. Just wanted you to know that I'm not skipping it. I went through the cards that are not activated, and you don't need them. And then we're going to go into 5. And basically, you can just click on 5. You can break it down if you want, but you need everything except this card here, talking about the longest half-life, the shortest half-life for the coagulation factors that was mentioned. So I don't think that's a high yield concept, but everything else here is very good to have. And then you go to 6, all of them except the last 2, just because these weren't directly mentioned, so I didn't add them. And then 7, just a couple general concepts we want to have. So the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then this one talking about where thrombosis is most common, which is in the DVT, the veins in the lower legs. And then what does thrombosis occur in arteries or veins? And it's both. So just like some big key concepts here for that. And then one last one is going to the musculoskeletal system, because we learned about smooth muscle, and we're going to open up. Let me make sure I got my notes right. Yep. And then, so open up anatomy and physiology of MSK in first aid. You're going to go down to vascular smooth muscle contraction and activate all that. This is going over like the Kamal Gillen and that, all that stuff that Dr. McCulley went over. So pick that all up. That's really good to have. And believe that is it for this video. So thanks for watching. Sorry this was out late. There should be one up later tonight as well for January 24th. But this content includes, or this video includes content for January 22nd and 23rd. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more. Studying.